Scarlet beat battle.
I'm gonna mute the Discord.
Alright.
Do you remember falling in love? Do you remember?
Back?
Yeah.
This sounds like that's your second place song, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, like how can that not be like a top song? You know what I was like?
And like again, no shade, but the first place one, if you listen to it, I'm like, why? Maybe I missed something. Maybe I didn't listen to it with headphones and like the production was really, really clean.
Do you have it or not?
It's like, yeah, like what you said. I just listened to it on the stream.
Gotcha.
Like I went back and listened because like right after mine, I like it's kind of whatever, but like I started listening to the intro of the one right after mine, and I was like, oh, I got this. Like I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go make a drink. I'll come back. I'll be like back when they're judging. I come back and they're like, oh my god, this is the craziest shit I've ever fucking heard. So I actually didn't even hear it the first time. I was like, damn, like this must have been insane. And when I went back to listen to it, I don't know, maybe I'm just being bitter, but I was like, this one, okay.
It might be a little bit of that, but also it might be is the thing with music, right? The trick, right? Like it's not definitive, you know. It's not. It's all subjective.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yo, man, it can't be
True.
like basketball. Like, yo, I got 40. You can't deny my 40. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
you might do some dope shit in music, but if they ain't feeling, just like that 5 is a perfect example. Like I wasn't there, but like I said, like that's how I'm interpreting it. This guy knows people would like this shit. He don't like it, so it's a 5. You know, like, but he knows
it's so odd,
it should
though,
be put
like,
out though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such an odd way of like giving feedback. Like, yeah, I don't like it. Put that shit out. 5. Like, why?
I know I did too.
Yeah.
And my first one was probably whatever. My first one I did it, I think, the same way I do all the beat battles, like with just 1 hour. So let me see. I was skimming through it.
Nice.
See if it's worth playing. Hold on.
She was saying, she was like, I don't like it when people say like, I only spent 40 minutes on this. I'm like, is that all you? She was saying like, oh, is that all you care about for 250? Like, hey, you can't get mad if it's a good song. It's a good song, you know.
Also, I mean this in the nicest way because 250 is nice, but it's also only 250. It's also like,
yeah, true.
Also,
like, I can't spend
like
weeks on this shit.
You know, in hip hop La La Land, you know, like this people might spend like 5-10 minutes, and you know, like these are more obviously established people, but they'll get 5 digits for a beat in the current times right here. So it's just like
you listen to those beats and you could tell it's 5 minutes. Yeah,
but you should be grateful they spend an hour on there, dog.
Straight up.
Here, look, I'll play you mine.
Yeah, some of their feedback. Okay, I'm gonna switch over.
Nah, keep going. Keep going. Finish the thought first, if you're still there. Otherwise, I'll play it.
Oh, it's gone. I don't even know. It wasn't there to begin with.
All right. But no, I was saying I'll play you mine real quick. This is week 2, so. then it loops one more time. So
I'll ask you after.
yeah. I'll wait till you come back on that one.
So I noticed you use a lot of guitar.
Doing that on
in your
purpose.
beats. Like, do you play that, or is that a synth or something?
It's over there. It's funny. She thought it was there somewhere. Hold on. It's right there. See it eventually. Like, but yeah, nah. There, it's right next to me now.
Oh,
nah,
okay.
That's real.
Nice.
That's real. Are you still on the stream or?
Okay. Yeah, I'm bouncing back. I got confused.
But yeah, no.
Okay, cool. Because I was gonna say it's clean. It sounds like a real guitar. If it's a synth, then that's insane. But okay, that makes sense.
That I made that patch years ago, and I still use it. But it's doing things I would never do now, and that's probably why it can sound synthy. Because I would never use that now. I would do quote unquote more right things now, But I ain't know no better, so I just smashed everything.
I don't think it sounds synthy. I just like. If I heard it, I wouldn't assume it's synthy. I would think it's a real guitar, but because I know we're like producers, I just always
you can't tell no more.
Is that shit real or is that
no more?
Yeah.
Let me play you
it sounds
this
really
one because this is from week 3.
Okay.
And I submitted it on time, but they didn't allow it because they said I didn't submit it on time, even though I did, and that's now I haven't done one since, so I've been bitter.
See, bro, shit's rigged.
I'm not even trying to win. I just want my shits to be inside, Like that's why I'm like protesting.
I want to win. Fuck that shit. Okay.
But yo, I'll play it. I'll play it.
All right.
How you made me feel. 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 How you made me feel.
Damn.
How you made me feel. How you made me feel.
This is so good.
Made me feel. How you 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 made me
Sick.
feel.
They disqualified this shit?
They ain't even hear it. They ain't even hear it. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, this was like the most EDM-y I might get. So I was like, mad disappointed. I was like,
What the fuck?
But yeah, come back on the
That was
Discord
good as
if you ain't
fuck.
back.
Okay, I'm back. That shit's confusing. I don't know how they did that shit so smoothly.
Well, we're not.
We'll
We're
get
doing
used
it
to
really
it.
quick. Normally, then they talk for an hour and then they switch for a minute. Like we're going
True.
A B A
Someone
B A
else
B.
pauses
Yeah.
for an hour straight up. Straight up.
But yeah, they like I was just
Yeah.
disappointed. Like I was like, man, that might be the most EDM-y I get, man, because I was kind of like it's a bit more difficult for me to steer in directions of other people.
I've
So it
heard
was
some
my
of your
time.
shit. I've heard some of your shit that goes like not EDM-y, but like EDM adjacent. Like some of the albums that you have on SoundCloud
Spotify,
that I've
yeah.
listened to, I remember like your shit's always been like clean. I think they're always just looking for like what is clean. Like they critiqued more, like you said, I think, like more about the mix than they did about like the creativity or the content or like the variation or like, even the concepts. Like they were just like the low end sounds like this, the this. I want to hear their music.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Should
The
we do that
first
right now?
one, I mean, I think if you look them up, you can. I looked up the first week Tomas did it. I looked up, I guess, their special guest guy, and he was showing him. Tomas was showing him to me because he was a rapper in the UK, I guess, and he was getting plays on his YouTube. So yeah, I mean, like, it seems every week they get someone different, and every week they have stuff. So if you find out their name,
So
you can
who's the
totally find
core
them.
judges? Like who's like the ones that are?
I don't know if there is
there
a core.
every
Maybe
time?
there is a core, but I know the main one is her because it's her channel, and then everybody else I don't
Yeah.
really know.
Oh, okay.
Because they used to do, the way I found out about this beat battle is they used to do a beat podcast, and I didn't really listen to it, but I was like, I took interest. I kind of made a note in my head. All right, there's a beat cast, but I just didn't really hear it. But then that beat cast kind of transformed into a beat battle, and I was like, hold up now, y'all doing beat battles?
A beat cast, like they
It
would
was just a
like,
podcast
basically
about
do what
music.
they were doing.
It was just so I don't really
okay.
know what it was about, but it was a podcast about music, So yeah, I don't know.
Everybody got a podcast. I want a podcast.
I think just start doing one. It's easy.
Are you still doing your podcast?
Yeah, but it's
Like
not.
the interviewing people?
It's not. Yeah. See, it's not really that. They're gone already. But Duke and my homie Phil, who is what's his name in here, Agent KSS or some shit.
Oh, cool.
Every Friday we do it on same thing on this channel, and we just stream it. It's just kind of like our opinions on normal thing while we just hanging out. It's kind of just us bullshitting, really. Like
it's fun. That's what. Yeah,
so it kind of morphed into
podcast.
that, like post COVID, because me and Phil had talked about doing one forever, and I was like, I always wanted to do one a week, release one a week. I mean, but I'm like, right now, I'm like, I don't want to reach out to 56 people a year. Plus, like the way content is right now, like people want their platform. I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna just get the homies. It's more in the style of Joe Budden for us, or if you don't know who that is, it's just you just get a bunch of hosts and
I know.
comment. Yeah, so it's more in the style of that podcast. But yeah, maybe one day. Like I still kind of miss interviewing people.
You were consistent as hell before COVID. Like you were just like you're probably the most consistent person I know. Like
no life.
Putting out content, putting out videos.
No life, dude. So I'm doing.
What?
I said no life. No life enables that.
No, that is life. But no, bro. That's living more than most people live. If you think about it, you're having conversations like, what's life like? Going to work and then coming home and watching a TV show.
No, I don't know. I don't
that's
count
not
that
life.
either. I don't count that the
But that's like
either.
while you were doing that other stuff, a lot of people were doing. No shame on that. I do that shit all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think that's living more than not living. That's
no,
not the life.
That's just my jokey answer. Is that exactly what you're saying? Yeah. Like I'm just putting a lot of my time into that. Like my goals for this year is that's why I switched to that podcast. For I'm like, look, I'm gonna drop one of these every week, and then I'm gonna do I've been wanting to do the same thing for music forever, but I just haven't been able to click like on some mental shit. But like one of the ways I'm tricking myself. Wise? Yeah, release wise. I want to do the rush, a song a week. I've been wanting to do that for like years already, and I just haven't done it. I've told people about it. Not everybody agrees about it, but what I did that I felt in whatever way will trick me into doing it is I was like, you know what? I came up with a new alias, and I'm gonna just do it under that. And I think because long term, I do want to do it as vocals. Like when you started rapping, I was like, oh shit, if I was more active right now, I'd totally collab with you. Like we get that. Them bars
yeah, let's do it. You don't have to be more active. Just do it. I mean,
you can send me some or vice versa. But like I'm not even I don't even got I got the mic, everything hooked up, but I unplugged the mic because I was like, all right, it's just getting air. It's just getting air right now. But I noticed I'm really active musically, so I made the new alias was like, well, I'll just do the one release, but it'll just all be beats. And then kind of as I get quicker with that.
Have you shared the alias yet, or is it still kind of under wraps?
It's called It Should Be Easy. I'm not even like, I ain't trying to hide it, but I'm also like, I'm just not also talking about it actively. I played.
So like spelled out, it should be easy?
Yeah, it should be easy. Because it should be fucking easy. That's why.
Because it's the theme of what you're trying to do. Yeah.
Like,
makes sense.
It's like just make music. Like if you trying to, so it's the whole thing is like a trick on me. But yeah, they're just gonna be instrumental beats and like just because I'm like, and then we'll see where that evolves to. If that evolves into something like maybe I get like
that's
so
what
quick
I'm
at
trying to tell myself too. Like I'm sure you feel this. It's like you don't like your online. Like what you've put out online doesn't really represent what you've been working on and what you could do. And I feel like I get stuck. Like most of the shit that you've heard, I don't release and I just sit on and then I hate it and then I don't work on it. But I'm just like, I'm getting a little, like, I'm just working on it. Like if it's a beat that I find myself not wanting to instantly skip and like hate or fix something in it, like put it out. I'm not mad at it, like why not? Why sit on it forever?
So this is something interesting.
Easier said than done.
What you said, because you and Xylo is a good example, and to be fair, at this point, Tomas is a good example. Like I'm the reverse of you guys, and that like we both we all have our release issues, but I think I put out everything. But because this is maybe more relevant to the past me, maybe me not as much. But like I was always so stretched that I was like, man, I don't got time to even make music. So when I would make something, I would just put it out. But now like I started getting warmed up again in August, and I noticed like my whole goal was songs, and I was like, but I'm stacking beats right now. I'm like, I never stacked beats, so that's where this beat alias came from, because I was like, let's just do this and beat a week, But you guys who stack, like, I never understood. So like what is the mindset? Because I was like, man, if I was like as prolific as you guys in one thing instead of just everything, you know, like, because I think if I only did music, I think I would have a lot more music. But because I do more things.
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
So what makes you guys hold it? You know, they can't answer them, but you can answer yourself.
Yeah. Let me think about that. That's a really good question that I think I still struggle with, like, coming up with a legitimate answer to myself, you know? Like, I think the main thing that happens is, like, I'm just going to go through the process of, like, what happens when I do that. So, like, I'll make a beat, and then I either, you know, first few nights really love it, and it's, like, easy, and it's like, whoa, it's simple, and it makes sense, and I'm not mad at it, and there's not much I want to change, right? And I'll love it. And then I'll be like, I'm going to get an artwork, right? And so, like, what's the artwork? And then I'll take, like, a day on that, and then even in that day that I'm thinking of, like, ideas for the artwork, I'm, like, losing connection to the song, right? And so then, like, I go back and I re-listen to it, and I'm like, oh, that snare kind of, like, hurts my ears a little bit. Let me go back and, like, fix that snare. And then, like, I fix the snare, and, like, oh, well, now the kick is, like, too thumpy. So I bring down this, and then, like, by the time I'm done with it, it's like a whole new fucking mix. It's a whole new. Usually, it's more of, like, a mix thing. Like, it's a whole new mix, maybe some new elements that I like, and then again, I'm stuck, and I have no idea what the artwork should be, and so I get stuck there, and then I'm Googling shit like how to make artwork in Photoshop. So I'm trying to teach myself how to do Photoshop, and then I want to do, like, the visualizer. So I'm trying to learn how to do After Effects, and then that clouds it to the point where, like, I'm not having fun. You know, like, this whole release thing is, like, now homework, and I'm so separated from the beat that I love that, like, I don't love it the same way I did that first week. And now it's like a task that I have to fucking finish, otherwise I've failed myself or whatever. And I feel like that's the constant. If I had a team or whatever, I'm like, yo, here are the 5 songs I worked on this week. Tell me which one's good to go, and I trust whoever's above me to send it to the right people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ideally,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this one works. Let's send it to this guy. We got these options for the artworks. Which one do you like? If it was like that, I think that I wouldn't hit that paralysis. I think it would be like, just get it out. But because it's like every step of the way, I got to stop and, like, analyze the artwork, the video, okay, am I doing Spotify, SoundCloud? Am I going to try to promote it? Should I see what happens organically? Do I use hashtags? Like, I hate that side of it. I really, it's just like, it takes me out of the part of it that I love. And I think that's a lot of it, honestly. I think that's a lot of it. And then, like, the stuff with vocals, it's just hard to be vulnerable and, like, show that side of me to people that I don't know very well. And that's, like, what you're doing, you know? Like, if you're writing lyrics, like, you're kind of opening up to strangers, to not your friends anymore. If you're putting it out there, it's like anyone could see what you're thinking about. And it's like, I got to get over that, you know? Like, use it more as a diary, as a journal, than it is like well, what do you think of it? You know, like, stop caring what people think. Just do it for yourself, kind of thing. Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question at all. Or
to some degree. I had some points there. Like, so that last part you did, I released like 9 songs last year. I think only 9. Yeah, they're all vocal. 8 of them was me trying to do the 1 a week thing, but I was trying to do it, like, from zero. So, like, what ended up happening is I burnt out. Like, Russ always says, charge up 26. That gives you 6 months advance. So that way you don't have to freak it all the time. But I burnt out, and then I did song 9, and then I just went into other stuff. COVID was happening, all kinds of shit. It started week 1. Song 1 came out right on, like, March something, when COVID was just
fucking believe it, man.
So yeah, like, all kinds of shit was happening in that while I was trying to keep up. Like, I gotta move out of Austin. All kinds of shit was happening.
I feel you, man.
But
I mean, we moved into a house that, like, the idea of the house was like, this is going to be a hub for a bunch of people to come over and collaborate and make videos and all this shit. Like, literally the week COVID started. So was
that the same house with Mini Lion and all that, or no?
Mini Lion? Who's that? No. That was out in LA.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because he was trying to do something like that here. Yeah. That's why I saw.
Oh, no. After COVID,
Okay.
Not now.
But
what were you saying? You said you had a couple.
So yeah, I did 9 songs, and one that was like my first time trying to take vocals seriously. So honestly, every 2 or 3 songs, I would sound different vocally, because I'm actually
Wait, can I hear
working
these
on
songs?
it. They're all on Spotify.
I've never heard your vocals.
They're all on Spotify.
Oh, what?
I could play them, but they're literally all on Spotify. If you ever want to hear them, like
SoundCloud too, or Spotify?
just Spotify. SoundCloud has become my unreleased section now.
Same. I love it. It's like freeing, like.
But there's only 9 singles, so anything that says 2020 from last year should be a vocal. And they're in. If you hear them in order, you can hear like maybe every 2 or 3 tracks, like, oh look, he got better.
And that's like all you could wish for while you're doing a project like that is like, can I learn something? Can I learn from the last song and do something differently? And like,
cause I hear the first one and I'm like, man, I sound like I don't know how to rap. Like you know, like. But when I hear it back now, but when I hear the lyrics, it's the journal thing you were saying. Like I hear the lyrics and I'm like, yo, it captures that moment perfectly. And it's like, this is dope. Like I love it for me because it's like this is kind of like a living journal testament for me.
Seriously.
But I do struggle, me as a New Yorker, as a Bronx person, as a person who comes from hip hop, I do struggle sometimes. And this is my internal battle. It's like, is it fair of me to do the journal thing? Because that part comes easy, but I almost feel like the hip hop I grew up on, and I don't even hear this anymore, but the hip hop I grew up on is the whole bar spittle lyrical rap person, and I'm not that guy naturally. I try to I'm trying to force it in there. Like I got some bars here and there. Like there's a bar in track 9 that I thought is in the final one I did that I thought is super dope. And I will read it to you because you mentioned anime, and it'll give you an anime recommendation. But I was like, but I was like, no one's gonna notice this because like, but it doesn't matter. But like, I do bounce back and forth, and like, man, like trying to do that. But I realize like I'm gonna do a hybrid. It might always be more journal, but I'll try to do the journal as like, I don't know, kind of like creatively as I guess as I can do versus just saying I feel sad, you know, because it is easier to just say I feel sad.
Exactly. It's like that's the hardest part that I find is like when you're doing lyrics is like, yeah, I want to admit that I'm sad and be vulnerable, but I don't want to be cheesy and like woe is me type shit. Like I want you to like, yeah, like you said, have bars and like be clever about the way I'm expressing how I feel. Yeah, and that's a lot of like the hold up. I think I'm sure you understand like. When you write some shit and like that night you're like, this is fucking amazing, and then you listen to it a week later and you're like, like maybe I don't have to say that shit, or like maybe that's too much, or like maybe whatever.
So I have a different thing with that. So I'm more like, and this might come from maybe just doing all of this, like the shame is kind of gone. Yeah. Sometimes, especially with some of the stuff I was writing about last year, I was like, man, like, you know, hopefully certain person maybe don't hear this, you know, like, and think I'm maybe more angrier than I am.
I feel you, but like at the moment, it fueled what I was feeling, fueled these lyrics. Definitely.
But in terms of me, like, I'm not even ashamed. Like, I can hear that stuff, and I know it's not quote unquote good enough or whatever, but it's like, you know, it's as good as what I knew for the time.
What do you mean good enough?
Good
so
enough
like for your own standards, or
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm glad it more exists versus like if I compare my mix to like, you know, whoever's on the radio, like that shit's just mixed better. I'm doing everything myself, just like you were saying.
Not
with the
always,
album.
Bro. Not always. Not
that's true,
always, man.
That's true.
Listen to. I just listened to this shit because of TikTok. What is it? One of DaBaby's new song.
Oh, is it a Fart 808?
It's Meg
song.
bro, it's kind of, but no. Listen to the snare. It's like I cannot believe this shit is on here. I'm just gonna send it to you.
Do it
so you could listen to the snare.
I'll save it. I'm making a little text.
Maybe I'm just like spoiled or some shit, but like, how is this snare on the radio? I'm so.
Where are you sending it?
I can send.
Anywhere works, but I just need to know where you sending it.
Where do you prefer?
Wherever.
Just do chat?
Yeah, just post the chat. Fine.
Yeah, dude. Like, I cannot understand how this shit is this final snare. And maybe I'm just being pretentious, but it sounds like
Let me
Hold
see.
on. Yeah, just like weak. It just sounds weak, like a weak snare. Maybe that's just like the EDM in me talking, like, you know, but like,
Yo,
I
man,
don't know. I
hip
feel
hop,
like you
like,
could have a
and
good solid snare in
hip
hip hop
hop,
too.
man. Especially again, me coming from the old day, it took me a while to even accept everything that was going on now. But I mean, you know, there are no rules in there. It's like, yo, that shit just need to exist.
True.
That's the hip hop rule. Does it exist? Yes. Okay, that's
Yeah,
it.
it's
That's
good.
it. That's it.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's true, man. That's
Yeah.
so true.
Not even, and I'm not even talking about like audience
That's true,
listening.
man.
I just mean like in terms of just making it. I just mean like,
Is
yo,
it
like
out
it just,
there?
yeah, it just needs to exist. And like, you know, they have the
That's
right
true as fuck.
mindset that maybe like some of us are lacking in certain areas, and that like put it out, don't care, they will decide, you know. And honestly,
That's true.
that's it. That's the one that matters. You said something real quick a while ago, and you was talking about a team. I was like, I've heard of this happening a lot. If you want to check it out, the Kenny Beats Discord is the most popular, one of the more popular Discords. And that Discord, there's a lot of people who just team up and they do what you're saying, because they have an artwork beat battle on Mondays along with the normal beat battle.
Sick.
So yeah, some people meet each other like, hey, you do this, you do that, and they do the little.
That's sick. That's
they
good
do the
to know.
collabs
Dude, I gotta
there.
get into that Kenny Beat shit. I made one of their one of the what's it called, beat battles, and I didn't submit it, or I like got the days wrong. And the stuff that he provided, like the little sample pack that he provided, was like really good. It was really helpful.
That must have been the early days, because he purposely picks shit now, like the worst. Usually like camera phone recordings and all kinds of shit.
He's like, show me what you got.
Yeah. Part of it is to like shit on us, but part of it is also he was claiming like, yo man, when I give y'all good samples, y'all make the wackest flips. So when I give y'all trash, y'all make the dopest flips. So y'all getting trash forever now.
I believe it. I believe it. Yo, I think I showed you an early version of the song I'm dropping in the chat. You should jump if you want. This beat is like simple enough that if you just want to like write to, like I feel like you should jump on this shit, because I need like a second verse or something.
Let me hear it.
If you feel like it.
See this is what I'm talking about. This is more akin to me, because I just gotta write it and record and we good. Like that was my dream, to move into vocals so I never have to make a beat and mix again. I was like, I would always look at rappers like, you guys have it so easy, man. Y'all just show up and start reading shit. I'm
say some shit, and you good.
Don't mix nothing.
Over here tweaking this fucking 2,000 fucking hertz that make my ears bleed and shit.
Oh yeah. Ain't no ear fatigue when I'm. Yeah, I was gonna say a name, but I don't want to.
They don't know you.
I'm
That's
hearing it
why
now.
they like you.
Wait, what'd you say?
They only knew
I'm hearing it now.
what I do. They don't know you. That's why they like you. If they only knew what I do. You a flippin' little bitch, that's why they fall for it. You got more dirt on your head than a whole forest. Like damn, scoop it up, you pick the shovel up. Pretend you care when you really don't give a fuck. So, keep running that shit like it's my bad. Like you can't understand that the time passed. Like your actions never deem any consequence. But you balaclava, so you just pretend. Yeah, they don't know you, that's why they like you. If they only knew what I do. They don't know you, that's why they like you. If they only knew what I do.
Yeah, man, send me that. Send me that. I'll give you a second verse. I'll give you a second verse.
Okay.
Yeah, man, send me that.
Okay.
Give me a good reason. Whip out the mic again. So like, make it stay
I feel like
there.
the beat is easy enough.
Yeah.
Like,
plus, there's a topic there too, so I just gotta pull. I did a collab. Sometime he does the beat battle every 2 weeks. Jermaine did a collab with Jermaine, and he's dope, but it disappointed me, and I don't even remember which DAW he used, because he kind of plays with a lot of them. He doesn't use Ableton, but I'm giving him wave files, and I think I recorded this back for him in May last year, but he finally started mixing it, and whatever he's doing, he's taking my vocals, and they're not on time, and I'm like, I don't know if they're coming in warped in his thing or whatever he's doing. He's not using Ableton, and I don't know if it's just coming off, but I'm like, We kept trying to make it right,
That's
but I
just
was like,
frustrating too.
it is. It did. I was like, look, dude, it's your song. If you like
Yeah.
me like that, then go for it. Go for it. Like,
Yeah, that's always tough. Like when I first started, I would fuck with vocal like warping and shit. But I feel like with this kind of situation, with that kind of situation, it's like if a rapper sends you their cadence, even if it's off or if it's spot on, like you kind of out of respect should try your best to leave it the way they sent it.
yeah,
Ideally.
he's
Like,
not doing it on
that's ideal.
purpose.
I
But
know,
he-
yeah.
but it's just-
it's usually not on purpose.
But it
yeah.
still like pisses me off. Like, but honestly, if no one really notices and they think, because to me I sound off beat, but I also did it, so who knows? Like it still might sound good. I just can't tell because I know how I did it. So like so
yeah, like that's the easy thing about I've only done it twice, once with Static Steve and once with Tomas, where you can share the Ableton session through Splice.
yeah.
That shit is so helpful. That shit is like you could just
I
mean
did
it's,
it with
it's
Tomas.
sometimes it gets a little confusing, but like sometimes it's like super helpful just to be like, oh, this part specifically, I'm just gonna change it, or like I'm gonna whatever you got to do.
Yeah, like I have not taken kindly to that. I haven't enjoyed it as much, but just maybe I just haven't done it right. I don't know. Like I'm
What do you
more.
mean?
I don't. I just don't like because I guess I don't normally use Splice. Now I'm bringing this third party app into the system, and so it's just
yeah.
kind of just frustrating having it. If I was already using Splice, I probably wouldn't be as mad. But for me, it's like Tomas be like, "Hey man, want to do a beat?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And he's like, "Let's bring Splice," and I'm like, "Oh man." It's like, hey, let's go on a date. Like, yeah, but I'm bringing my little brother. Like, I guess.
Damn, now I gotta entertain this new shit. Yeah. The annoying thing about the Splice thing is that every time you save, it saves a new version, which is like kind of confusing. Does
it really?
So you go back and it's like 88 versions. Yeah, every time you hit Command S, it saves a new version in Splice, not on your computer.
Oh, that's why.
Okay. Yeah. So
that
like,
was
you
the
go
other
back
thing.
And it's like,
so I actually save normal, like your
shit, but yeah.
I actually save like that when I work. I'll make not 80 versions, but maybe like 5 to 10, depending.
15.
Yeah,
my max has been 15 to 20. Honestly,
I do that.
I do like.
And when I collab with Tomas, he's almost like, "What is this? What is that?" He's like, "Why
No,
is
dude,
this?"
like there have been so many times where I'm like, I'm just gonna like I said, like I'm just gonna go back and like turn down the snare like 2 decibels, and then I go back and turn that down, and then I like do a bunch of shit, and then I fuck up the mix, and then I didn't save another version. That's the worst shit, and you're like, fuck, like I was so close before, now I got this like Frankenstein bullshit. I just overthink it a lot of the times, and that's usually the songs. Like I have songs from like 2017 that I'll still open and be like, let me fix this snare, and then like halfway through doing it, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like the song's not that good. Like this is just the beat. Why the fuck am I wasting my time?
So that reminds me of like the mix engineer style, like where the song's never done, right? You learn some shit. You're like, oh, I can make this dope. But that's to me also.
Yes.
Like, I don't have an answer for this, but my friend, as they try to decipher, I think it was like 2 podcasts ago, and they try to decipher how I work, because I don't be like chasing the money, and I don't be chasing like the prime time sounds. I just be doing like weirdo shit, and I don't be trying for the fans either, but I have to release it. And it's like in my head, like I have to release it. Especially now, right now in 2021, am I going to promote it? Probably not, man. I ain't trying to really be on them socials, but I have to release it. And I think maybe that's my way of like cutting it loose. Like, all right, it's done. We ain't touching it. That's
good though. That's good.
It should be easy that I told you about earlier. I heard track 1 today, and I was like, man, I wouldn't even mix that shit today. But I was like, but it's gone. So I didn't open up the session or nothing. But I heard it for like 5 seconds, make sure it works, because it was a brand new alias, so it's starting from 1 again. And I was like, it exists. And I was like, let me move.
Yeah. So I was, have you heard of Bad Snacks?
I have.
The producer girl?
She's a girl on Twitch, right? That's why I know her. I don't know her from not Twitch, But I think she was in LA. So you might have known her from the LA scene, right? Yeah.
She was doing like a class thing, and so I had a class with her just to like go over shit. I just wanted to pick her brain. And,
wow.
She gave me 2 pieces of advice that I try to tell myself all the time, is that like the songs that I usually end up loving are what she called the little sneezes that you just like make and you're like happy with it and you barely touch and you're like, whoa. And you put that out and people usually like those. songs a lot better than the ones that you hold on to. Yeah, exactly. And what she said, which is so true, is that like once you put a song out, it's no longer your song. It's the world's song. And if you hold it so close to you that it's too precious to let go, and you keep fixing it and you keep tweaking it, it's so precious. How are you going to let it go into the song? How are you going to into the world? How are you going to let that song be everyone's song and not just your precious, delicate china? Like, how are you going to let it just fly? And that shit was so true. And then and I always do it. And I build up a beat. I'm going to come up with this perfect artwork, and then I put it out, and it's like, 1,000 plays. Like, a couple people hit you up, a couple placements. Like, nothing really happens to it.
Yeah.
And then the songs that I'm like, this is just a stupid whatever. I'm going to put this out. For some reason, that shit always does 100 times better. That EP that I put out through Chill Select, those songs, a lot of those songs that I put on there, and this is not saying that like, oh, I didn't care about it. I definitely went back and like tweaked it and fixed it and fine tuned it. But like the skeleton of a lot of those songs, I do this thing called Song a Day for a month every January and sometimes in the summer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, ain't there like some official one? And like, I feel like it's fallish, but maybe I'm wrong on the month. But I feel like this is a website that promoted something like that.
There's two, yeah. You should join. It's just like really good people from LA and all over the world. It's just called Sad Fam, Song a Day for a month.
Okay.
So Sad Fam, and a lot of those songs on that EP was just like on that beat tape was just like a song a day for a month song, and I like picked my favorite ones, like cleaned them up a little bit, and like because I released through Chill Select and whatever they did on their end, that shit's at like 300,000 plays on Spotify. And that's just like the definition of a little sneeze, and like no flex. I'm just saying like for what we're talking about, like those are songs that I barely overanalyzed, that I barely held on to. Like, oh no, I gotta fix this, I gotta fix that. I was just like, that sounds great. I'm not mad at it. Put it out, and the universe was like, all right, but like here's a reward for that mindset. And the ones that I fucking hyperanalyze and like over tweak, over mix, fuck up the mix, like they never get shit. They never get love. It's so weird. It's like a constant lesson that like I try to tell myself, but
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of that too. I feel like I just sometimes I'm like, man, like my workflow slows down at the end because sometimes I'm just there, like just hearing the beat, like this is dope, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably mix it. So like I gotta force myself to mix it.
Your mixes are always on point though. You have, I think you just naturally have a good ear, like, and you always have. Your shit would always stand out to me. Like when back in the day when we were listening to feedback mixes, and you're just listening, and the one. Like you're like, yo, who the fuck? And you got to go check the name of like who it is.
Yeah,
it was always yours. Like before we even met, I remember being like, this shit's weird. First of all, in the best way possible. This shit's weird, but it's clean as fuck, and it's like weird. And when I say weird, I mean that.
Yeah, totally. No, I'll take it. Like,
like weird. Like I wouldn't have chosen to do that, but I'm so glad that you chose to do that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I need you to do like my intros on my shows. It's just like
this shit's weird.
No. The part before where you just hyping me up. I'm like, all right, bet.
Yeah. No, but it's true, man. It's true. Your shit's clean as fuck. I'm like, yeah, it's just like you think outside of the box. Like
always.
I know that it's always like
if I see the box, I start going the other way. I see.
That's the thing, is that you're aware of the box. There's some people who are outside of the box and they don't even know what the fucking box is, and you can tell. Like it's like they're so far away from the box that it's like.
I'll tell you what I started doing with the beat battles today. Like I've been having this thought in my head, but I just started today. Like I've done so many beat battles that I was like, you know what? I think I've worn out. Like I don't know how y'all start, but I normally start with the sample first and doing whatever and do whatever I'm gonna do with the sample. But I was like, what would be more challenging, because I think I've maxed out that way for me. Why don't I make music and now force the sample onto it first? So like the guitar in there, I played the guitar first, and then I was like, all right, now let me get the Willy Wonka and see where I can fit it in here,
cool.
Because cool. I knew that I was scared. I was like, first off, I did not want to be in 3. That was not the goal to be in 3, but the riff was in 3, so it has to be in 3. And I was like, how am I gonna take this Willy Wonka, make it fit in 3? And I was like, I don't know. But then you know what happened is the beat. But I was like, I purposely did that because I'm like, I think this will make me better in the long term. Because for the beat battles,
that's
like,
a cool way of doing it. I've never done it.
When it comes to the beat battles, like I'm purpose. That's what I say. Like I'm not trying to win. Even when it comes to like the Scarlet ones, like to me that's training. Like because I'm not really trying to use that sample at all. You know what I mean? So it's like to me, like
that's how I feel about our beat battle. For sure.
It's training.
It's training. It's fun.
Training.
It's not like competitive at all, but like in a good way. Like it's just fun.
Yeah. It's training. It's training. That whole thing you said before. Now keep going. Say something.
No, go ahead. My shit was some Naruto.
I was gonna take it back to what you said when you said release to the world the Bad Snacks advice. It's Bad Snacks, right? Or right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So the release into the that reminds me, especially when it comes to more famous IP, like whether it's a song or like good examples right now are anything Disney, in particular for me, Marvel and Star Wars, right? And I think the Star Wars example is a good one, in that maybe a lot of people don't like the movies, right? The 7, 8, 9, right? And I think a lot of that is like what you just said, right? Because even though we all have these expectations and idea, and that's really why we don't like it, because it doesn't match our needs, but when you put it out into the world, right, now it's kind of our story, and we kind of do expect Luke to do this or Han to do that, you know? So when you see all this freaky shit, it's like, like, why are they doing it? I reject this, you know?
That's not how I wanted it. Exactly. That's true as fuck.
So like the more famous it is,
way to think about
the more true that statement is, because now it's harder. Like, you know what's a good example for music? I was hearing some old songs that I heard Main Source. It's some old hip hop, so I don't know if you know who that is or not. Main Source's big contribution, he did a lot. If you're into hip hop, he did a lot, but for most of the world, his main contribution is having a song called Live at the Barbecue, and that's Nas' debut verse, right? And from there, Nas goes on to do Illmatic, and then everybody knows Nas' story. But there's a 2017 remaster on there, and it doesn't sound bad, actually, but Spotify is infamous. You go to any OG artist, and there's remasters on there, and I'm like, I don't want to hear the remaster. I want to hear the one I grew up on.
Grimy shit.
Yeah.
I want to hear that cassette hits.
Yeah, because some of the remasters, man, they're not just remastered. Some of them are remixed. And a good example of this is Megadeth. Like, you know the song Symphony of Destruction? Yeah. So there's a riff in there where Marty Friedman does these like guitar, like high notes. And I remember, this is even before Spotify. Like the remasters came out maybe, who knows, like 2005 or whenever they came out. But I remember hearing it back then, and I was like, yo, this is not the song. Like, this is some other song. Like, because it's missing certain parts.
They Kanye that shit and like fixed
it
up.
The reason he gave is like, yo, when they went back through the original tapes, some shit was missing. And I was like, then you know what? Don't put that shit out. like.
So that's interesting. So you heard about Kanye, like, when he did Life of Pablo, he said that he was going to consistently go back and fix it as he heard things that he wanted to change until it was perfect. Like that was the whole concept. Was like he was like, I'm going to go, and that's
but the album doesn't change on Spotify though, right?
No, but it does. Yeah,
does it really?
Well, not now. When it first came out, that was his whole shit, that he was going to go and like replace it, and like if he changed the mix of something, he would just like, you know, on SoundCloud you can go and like replace it. I'm sure at that level.
Yeah, that's a good example of that.
Spotify and shit. Yeah, and he did that shit, and I have the first release of like the leaked release, like back when torrents were like more like Mediafire days prolific, and shit. Yeah. You know, 2015, 14, and the versions that I know. When I hear the real versions now, I'm always thrown off because I'm so used to the version that I know.
Yeah.
And these new ones will just have entirely new parts or like switch up the timing, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like I'm going to sing the next part, and it's like something else.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to think about. And like, I don't really have an opinion on it, honestly. Of like, as a fan, it's kind of annoying when I go back and I try to hear the song that I'm used to and it's a new version of it.
Yeah.
But I also, as an artist, understand that you're like, hey, I always intended it to sound like this. and it never sounded like this, but now I can get it to sound like this, and I want to change it.
Then I would counter with, why did you put it out? Why did you put it
Yeah, that's the thing. Is for a lot of people, I had a deadline.
Because George Lucas himself did it.
Cyberpunk and shit.
George Lucas
why did they release
himself
Cyberpunk? That shit's broken.
Well, no, that's a different story. I don't know nothing about the real story. This is me pulling everything out my ass. But that's a 7-year-old game. That's a 7-year in development game that probably has a budget, and some stock investors was like, what are we doing here?
We need money.
Yeah. So that one I understand. It's not justified, but I get it.
For how broken it is, it's not really justified. Like, all the footage I've seen of it is like unplayable. Like,
you know what's my favorite story of that game? Like, because I know there was a lot of bugs in the very beginning, but my favorite bug story is apparently in this Twitch world where DMCA exists, there's a setting in there where you can turn off the DMCA portion of the soundtrack so you don't get banned on Twitch. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. But the reason why I found out about this, because some of the songs weren't turning off, and I was like, you can't even do that? That's not even hard, dude. That's not even...
People were getting banned?
Well, because when you hit the... So, no, it's not Twitch's fault. It's the game. When you turn off the switch...
No, I'm saying they were still playing music. It was
still playing music that wasn't DMCA. And I was like, you couldn't even get that right?
I could write that code.
Yeah, that's a basic thing. I could write that's that a basic... Shit. That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And that's probably a situation, like I was talking about, where, like, if you could translate that huge team into just what we do, like, that's a situation where they went back and they tweaked and they tweaked and they tweaked, and that snare, you know, that sounded good to them 7 years ago is now this fucked up game that they're trying to release. And that's like a perfect example of, like, if you sit on it too long and if you work on the wrong shit, you're going to hate it and it's going to be bad.
Because you become different. You become different. Now you think different, the art different. And then that thing is so big. It's not something like our beats that we can do. Yeah. We can't do that whole big game that big in a verse. Yeah, you can't do it the way we can do. So it's like it's constantly in motion. To attack what you just said, but earlier on, right, where you say now you start doing all these other things like artwork, and it's like now it's not even fun no more. And the socials, like. So some of my counter to that, and I do spend time on it, like, because I end up getting sucked inadvertently, but it's not my goal. But I know no one really agrees with me. It's like Statix doesn't agree with me, and Promise doesn't agree with me. But when it comes to like artwork and stuff, like I'm just like, yo, whatever. I'll just get some. I'll take a picture, try to freak it with my limited knowledge. Like, I'm not even trying to like try hard. Like, yo, what does this song look like? Like, nah, man. Like. Maybe I'm that carefree because I don't really got a fan base in certain things. Like, maybe when you get more plays, maybe it's something you should care about. But I also know my attitude. Like, I'm trying to do this music. It requires a picture. It's getting a picture. I'm going to move on now.
I like that attitude. Honestly, I've been trying to get more like that. That's not a bad attitude at all. I mean, I get both sides. I get why you would want to think about it. And I like, if you think about it, like, if I'd like this to be a job, I can't overthink every fucking thing I do at a job. Nothing's going to get done, you know? Like, if every release is like me clocking into work, I can't fucking go into work every single day expecting this to be the best day of work ever. I can't expect every one of my songs to be the best song ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Like, there might be like this special project to you that is like means a lot to you personally. If you want to put more time into that, or if I put more time into that, like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think there's got to be balance. I'm trying to get closer to where you're at, where it's like remember that week? I think it was during when we were doing the beat battle. I was just trying to make a beat, write lyrics, record the lyrics, and release the song, make the artwork a day, and I did it every day for 1 week.
Yeah.
And like the way I did those artworks, I would literally write down on a piece of paper with Sharpie, take a picture on my phone, take that shit into Photoshop, and then like fuck it up in Photoshop, and like just keep it like, all right, that's the little theme I got going. I'm just going to consistently do that. And I felt better about those releases than I have about any release that I've like sat on for years and then released and then not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even care what those plays are at because I don't even think about it. But the shit that I sit on, the shit that I'm like, oh fuck, this better be good. I'm gonna go back and see that those plays are still like, you know, on SoundCloud, like one of the ones I just put out was like, I think still under 100. I'm like, fuck, you know, like what a flop. Even though I love that song, you know, and that's so stupid that
that's what matters, though. That's what matters,
like
man.
that.
Like, I would attack some of this stuff like way hardcore and like if that's really a feeling, like that, oh, it's only 100 plays, that's a flop. Like, how many plays would it take for it to not be a flop? I mean,
honestly,
if we're
I
gonna
don't
bring
know,
money
right
into
now,
it,
300,000 doesn't even feel doesn't even feel great. It's so weird. I thought like, yo, if I ever hit like 20,000, 50,000, I'm gonna be so grateful, and I am. Don't get me wrong, I'm not being like ungrateful, but it's such a bizarre feeling that someone or something that I've made has been heard 300,000 times and shit. Like, I can't even fucking process that number. Like, I don't even know what that means. That's like, you might as well tell me 300 because that's a lot of people to me. 3,000, like. And that's the shit that's like, and I'm sure that keeps going, is like, you know, you hear about all these famous people who like commit suicide. It's like, how could you commit suicide? You got everything you ever wanted. And I think that's how it goes. Like, first you're reaching for 100 plays, you get 100. Then you're like, all right, let me get 1,000. You get 1,000. Then you're like, all right, let me get 10,000, whatever, 5,000. And then it just keeps going. Like, when, I'm sure Ed Sheeran is like, fuck, this last video I got only got 2 billion views or whatever the fuck. Like, that was a flop, you know? Like, when are you happy? When do you actually feel like, I did it, I'm good? I'm sure there's a level. I'm sure there's like a moment in people's lives where they feel that if they make it, you know?
Yeah. I think for me, I've only now like become open to the idea. Maybe in the last year, funny enough, to another rap group called Griselda. They were like really inspirational to me. Like, more their story. Like, I like their music too-ish, but I don't jam it the way like maybe I might have in the past. But like, these guys are like 36, 37, 38. They're in that range. Like, who knows? Maybe going on 40, because honestly, some of those ages I've known for a while now. So people have birthdays, so they're probably older. But they didn't really blow up till the last year or two-ish, depending on how deep you are in the hip-hop game. You know, like, even though they've been kind of doing it on and off they whole life. It looked like 2014 they started taking it seriously. And what was the reason I was in? One, it was the thing that they kind of showed to me, especially in hip-hop, was like, yeah, you can make it as an old man. It's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so that was kind of like,
I think that's true in a lot of genres. I think if you're just good, whenever you're good, if you're good, you like, people are going to like it.
Well, hip-hop has the pop spotlight on, so I think when on it. So when you see hip-hop, you tend to think young kids. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, really? Like, I mean, yeah, for like pop hip-hop. Yeah. But when I feel like hip-hop is similar to like comedians. Like, I forget who was talking about it.
See, to me, I can't remember. I wouldn't be as weird seeing an older comedian. I've seen older comedians already.
But that's the thing. But that, like, there's this comedian. I forget who I completely blanking on who said it. But there was like, basically like, I don't want to hear a fucking 19, 20-year-old try to tell me a joke or give me stand-up or give me some whole new perspective on life. Like, I want to hear like a depressed like 45-year-old who's like lived and like had pain and seen shit. He's probably got like a funny ass perspective on shit. Like, this kid who just got here, like, what the hell is he gonna? Which like is not always true. Obviously, I think in music especially, there's some creativity that you can't capture again. Like, some of the chances that people take when they're 18, 19, music wise, is like insane. When you go back, like Chance the Rapper, when you listen to his shit when he was 17, 18, you're like, how the fuck did you write this? Tyler the Creator, how the hell? Like, what are those kids like? Pop, like Sway Lee, those guys were like 16 and shit. Like, how the hell did you guys build this entire empire? And like, it's different. Those are all different examples.
Mike
but, like,
Will made it. Nah.
yeah. But like, I don't know, with hip hop, like, I kind of want to hear the perspective of not just young kids. I do want to hear young kids. Like, Saba is my favorite rapper. Smino, I don't even know that.
How you spell that? Write it down.
Saba. Promise put me onto him.
Saba.
Yeah, Saba, Smino.
Alright,
and then Smino's another guy that's I could wait. Are you Apple Music or Spotify?
Spotify.
I'll send you a playlist. I mean, like, yeah, they're younger kids, but they're not kids, not even kids.
Yeah,
but like younger dudes. But like, the way they articulate themselves is so mature, you know. And I feel like with hip hop, it varies. It's not only young or only old anymore. It's like, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. But the other thing I learned from them, and I guess why I was really bringing it up is like, it seemed that they were the reason why they stood out to a lot of people wasn't their age as much as to me it sounded like time travel rap. They were rapping normal like drug dealer, drug seller things, which at this point is not the norm. That used to be the norm in the 90s, but like they're the drug seller, and versus now like Atlanta kind of popularized the idea of being the drug user, right?
The buyer, yeah.
Yeah. So like they're selling it like that, but then also it seemed like this idea of like almost the money from the music was a bonus. They were already kind of making money from music kind of, but like from all these other things, whether they were kind of doing the real independent stuff, like whether it be merch or just other things that like the music, it didn't really matter if you go look at they plays right now, anybody from Griselda, it's more than us, but it ain't nowhere near anybody on hip hop. You know, like the three guys, if you want to look them up, are Westside Gun, Conway the Machine, and
oh yeah,
Benny the Butcher.
Westside Gun is popping though.
Yeah, but I mean, go look at his plays and see how many. Like, it's not like how you would expect a today rapper, you know. And then you go to DaBaby or something, you know. But he doing just fine, you know. He's talking about retiring already, and he just kind of made it in terms of a lot of people's eyes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But he's also a guy who got his fingers in a lot of things.
But like on what's it called? Pray for Paris. Like he's got big ass names. He's got Billy Esco, Tyler Creator, like
those were his biggest plays. The Tyler song like went to 1 million that first weekend, and none of the other songs did.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Wale. He's got Wale.
But what you know what's interesting? So since you know
who, is a good album,
it is.
That's a good ass.
Since
album.
you know who Westside is, I always love to rag on him, and in the nicest way possible. It's not hate, but this man loves rapping on beats with no beats, like with no drums on it.
What did Lizarazo say that one time? He's like, about my beat, he was like,
oh, the ambient one. Yeah,
I forgot what he said.
It was the ambient.
Yeah, he's like, yo, my face with the beat has no beat or some shit.
Yo, the album that came out after Pray for Paris, it's the red. It has a red cover on it. If you look at that album, that's the one. That whole album, it's like only one drum beat on there. There's only one. Everything else is him rapping on vocals, vocal samples.
That's hard. That's hard. I don't know how the fuck you could do that. Rapping to the metronome type shit.
He don't care, yo. He don't care. I'm always laughing like, yo, this motherfucker. Like, I don't even know how. I wouldn't even know how to make a beat. Like, how do you make this beat? Like, you just grab a sample and flip it. Done. Just move on. Like, you know who Royce the 5'9" is?
The mix.
You know who Royce the 5'9" is?
Yeah. He was with Aftermath and Dr. Dre and all that shit, right?
Yeah. Your webcam's freaking out, by the way.
Yeah, it died.
Oh, gotcha.
Am I frozen?
No, it just literally says EOS webcam utility. But
shit. I might hop off pretty soon. But.
Oh yeah. We'll wrap it up here. But I'll end with this Royce story. Like, Royce, he told a story of a collab he did with Westside, and he's making a beat with him. They gonna make it like live right on the spot. He grabs the sample, and literally he plays the first part. Westside like, all right, loop that, and Royce in his mind he's saying like, the fuck. He's like trying to find other parts. Westside like, what you doing, dude? Just loop that. Nah. So he's like, yo, you never interrupt a rapper's creativity. So I looped it. But once he left, I added some. I was like, this guy's crazy. I am not rapping on no vocals on my album. All right. So it's like.
So did he add shit or did
he does? But so it starts off for their verses. It's vocals. And then the drums kind of build up into it, like midway. And he said everything else he added, but he's like, yo, Westside just literally rapped on this vocal loop. He didn't want nothing else. He just,
dude, there's some rappers that can do that shit. And you're like, where? Like, how the fuck did you find the cadence? But I think that's when it's like, when you have, and that's the thing with a lot of the shit that I struggle with vocal shit is like, what do I have to say? You know, What do I really have to say? What do I really have to contribute? And I think when you're someone who could paint a narrative naturally, or you have something to say, that shit just like flows. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's just like there happens to be a beat behind your thoughts, but versus like I'm a producer. I'm like there needs to be a beat for me to even try to express my thoughts over music. You know what I mean? Like, but if you're a writer, which rappers, they're writers. You know, they're not just musicians. They're writers. Like, that's when it's like there could be a beat and there could be a vocal. There could be there could be nothing. There could be a metronome, and they'll get that shit out if they're like. If you take that thought and like you take one of these pop rappers, like what you're talking about, like if you play one of those beats for like I don't know, like Lil Pump, fucking SoundCloud rapper kind of shit, would they be able to do it? Probably not. You know, probably not. If everything you rap about is Gucci and the W and champagne and whatever the fuck, like, could you do it? Possibly, but probably not. But if you take someone who's like, they have stories to tell, they have bars, they got creative ways to express themselves. Most of the time, I feel like, if you take a Freddie Gibbs, if you take a Saba Smino, like, they're gonna be able to make it work. Tierra Whack, like, they'll make it work over whatever kind of beat you give them. I think. And that's just my opinion,
Yeah. Yo, I'm gonna let you go because it seems like you gotta do stuff. But one, I was gonna say, send me that beat and I'll get on.
I did.
And then two, no, but I mean like send it to me for real.
It.
Oh, you did?
No, I did.
Okay,
I did.
okay.
And I left, like, I basically just duplicated my part, but just instrumental at the end. So if you want to cut it.
Cool. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, it sucks because I only streamed this section. I didn't record it for real, so it would just be a streamer. But could I put this out, like our conversation, as a podcast?
What do you mean? Oh yeah.
What we just had?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. But it sucks because I stopped recording when we started talking, and I was like, fuck. Because if I recorded it, I would have had our audio on individual tracks. So I'm gonna just rip it from Twitch, but still.
Oh yeah. Of
It'll
course,
be
go
cool.
for it. Of course.
That was it, man. This was fun, dude. This was fun.
I didn't talk shit about anyone, right?
No, I don't think so.
Bad, right?
I don't think so.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, this has been fun. Let's do this more often.
Yeah, man, for sure. But all right, dude.
Man.
Have a good one.
Good night.
All right,
See you.